What's up, everyone? It's your boy Dugong Enjoyer. I'm here for a game review, as well as talking about this concept called high tempo play. So, this was inspired by a conversation that was happening in the Discord that I was reading earlier, involving, um, what it meant to play high tempo, what tempo means in Ark Nova, and the concept itself is difficult to encapsulate in words and to kind of describe it with just words, um because it's kind of a abstract nebulous concept, and it's difficult to point out exactly what it means for a move or a sequence of moves to be high tempo versus not. But I was playing Arena and I just played this game, and I thought that it was a really good demonstration of what it means to play high tempo, and um, gonna share it with you guys and share some of my thoughts around it and see what you guys think. So let's get started. For context, my opponent is not the highest elo. They're 413, so not bad. Not a bad player, but not no knock on them. Not the best, but I think they could have played a little bit better. But and kind of their decision making might have helped me with my game plan. But regardless, let's dive into it and let's take a look. So we're playing on Research Institute here. Projects are reptiles, species, monkeys, and we have a partner zoo on 8 as the relevant reward here. End games are large animal climbing park, not the best. So let's see what we're working with here. So we only have one project in hand. It's Australia release. Not the best project. Only a couple like really good releases for Australia. Also with releases, not the best for rushing for species, which you generally want to do if it's blocked on 3. Well, you generally want to rush species 5 anyways. It's a really easy to hit project and good value. But especially when it's the middle project, you want to be rushing for 5. So some notable sponsors here: Zoo School, Adventure Playground, I think are really good. European Pond Turtle is great. It matches the Reptile Project as well as the Species Diversity Project. And we have a very nice line here of being able to get out a Sumatran tiger round 1, which I will be looking to do. I think you can make an argument for keeping Mangolica, but this is not the best hand for rushing species, and I like the potential of grabbing a worker on 2 CP with the Sumatran tiger. And it'll help us with our tempo here. Little bug here with Board Game Arena. Let me see if I can fix this. Cool. Let's hope that fixes things. So we're first player, we grab the Science 2 Rep University. Oh, the display did not replenish. Oh, this is wonderful. Okay. Let's see here. Don't do this to me, game. Don't do this to me. Wow, that is unfortunate. I think we've been cock-blocked by Board Game Arena. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Let's see if we can pick it up from here. I need to look up how to get the sideboard back. Alrighty. Here we go. Does this work? Cool. Let me get rid of these cards as well. Cool. So, to recap what happened here, I grabbed the Science 2 Rep University. Our opponent built a petting zoo and grabbed the Asian sunbathing lizard from the display in the first folder. We built a 4 size, touching double water and picking up 5 money, and opponent grabbed the Asia Partner Zoo. We then played Zoo School, touching the Institute and drawing from the deck, and we picked up a koala. And then opponent X down cards, and then we also X down cards. Because in order to play the Sumatran Tiger, we need to play the Adventure Playground, covering the money. Opponent spends an X token to Do sponsors at 6, plays no copy stable, grabs a university, and plays expert in predators. So we are pretty lost on species, almost certainly. So I think that it's, we can pretty much give up on species because we know they have a petting zoo. We know they have a lizard that's cheap. So they're almost certainly going to be able to get another species. We play our adventure playground, grab the money, and look to play the Sumatran tiger. Opponent builds a one size. We do play our Sumatran tiger, and that gets us a reputation, which gets us an upgrade and 2 conservation points. So don't really need the upgrade. I think it's really useful to just have the worker to spend this round, especially with break at 0 out of 9. Howard says, seems anti-tempo not to have built the school over the 5. I don't think there's a way of building the school over the 5 money, since it needs to touch 2 border spaces. And we also want to touch the institute. So there's no way of placing the zoo school to touch the 5 money and the institute, unfortunately. But yes, I think it would have been very nice to be able to do both. I'm not sure if there was a way, because we need the 4 size touching. OBS just disconnected on me. Apologies for that. I think we're back though. What was I saying? Yes. I don't think you would go into a game thinking, I'm going to play high tempo. I think, as with all things in Ark Nova, it's a super tactical game. So it really depends on the situation and if it calls for it or not. And we'll dive into, what makes for a good turning point to what kind of qualities in the game goes into helping you make a decision of whether or not you want to play high tempo or not. And getting a worker on 2 CP is certainly a high tempo move. Or not necessarily a high tempo move, but a tempo move for sure. So opponent does play the petting zoo and the water dragon, and doesn't sunbathe any cards. So here we gotta decide what to do with our worker. I see that we have 1 European reptile. There's another European reptile on display. So I think Europe is a pretty good partner zoo to get. It'll save us 6 money on these 2 reptiles. And my plan is to just break 3, get 6 money, build 2 one-size enclosures, and snap up the wall lizard. Opponent chooses to X down their association, which I think is fine. They're definitely gunning for species 5 next round. So, they're going to want to build and take animals anyways. So I break here for some money. Opponent takes cards. Stick with the plan. Build a one size touching rock for the wall lizard. Opponent builds a 2 size. grabs the Peafowl, already has Asia Partner Zoo. So fair enough. It is their fifth species, but they're building a two size. They probably have another species incoming. The Peafowl is just a pretty solid animal to be playing. I stick with my plan, build another one size. Opponent here decides to build a kiosk. I think this move is a little bit too slow. I think it is a common lower elo play to build single kiosks like this. They have 8 cards in hand. I'm guessing they don't have a sponsor to play, otherwise they would have played a sponsor there. I think it's just much better to break there. It does get you some income, but building this kiosk costs you 2 money, gets you 3 money, so you get 1 money next round. You get 4 money the following break. If you just break right now, that's just 5 money. It gives you about the same money in 2 breaks. The kiosk will start paying you off later, but this is I think too slow of a move. So we do snap up the wall lizard, and now opponent chooses to break. Yeah, I think they should just broke in last move, because that forces me to take snapping for the wall lizard as the first move in this break, and then they can do animals, and then I do animals, and then they could do a project first. So they get first reward. So if there's a nice card on display, they get to snap it up. So I played the 2 European reptiles. Look to do reptiles too. Opponent plays a squirrel monkey. Very nice. Clever's down sponsors. Maybe. So I don't feel the need to get snapping here, because I guess I could maybe deny the first seal. There's nothing too juice, and then grab the university during the break. So also we have the 3 card bonus that we can pick up, like herbivore breeding for the koala maybe, for another project to do. So I think 2 size is just better here. I opt to build my 2 size up here so that I can build my 3 size university with the 2 size during the break. Grab herbivore breeding, Tazzy Devil, and draw 1 from deck, get the Scarlet Macaw. Yosemite National Park shows up, which is huge. With muskox in folder 1. This is super annoying. I think in my opponent's shoes, I would take snapping, grab the national park, and then pick up the muskox with my card's action. I don't know if I would spend 2 X's to deny the muskox. I might have to if my opponent snaps at the national park. Opponent does take snapping, upgrades sponsors, plays an explorer from range, plays an explorer with marketing, and then snaps up the fur seal. So I think that's a huge mistake there. I think you snap up America's release here 100% of the time. So opponent bails us out a little bit, chooses not to pick up the national park. I'm trying to like think, okay, is there a way for me to pick it up? I could maybe do something like snap the muskox and then pick this up with the 2 size. But that seems like, kind of difficult to do. So I decide against it, stick with the plan, build a 3 size for the koala. Look to upgrade association with this university, do a project, and grab this partner zoo, grab Australia. Savannah shows up. And so if Savannah didn't show up, I think I might have considered picking up the muskox and then release a little bit more. But I think with Savannah here, releasing the tiger is a little bit worse than the muskox. But the tiger we've already played. So I think it's just like better tempo to pick up the Savannah and release it instead of setting up for the muskox. So I build the 3 size, we stick with the plan, opponent. Takes card's action, draws from deck. I think maybe, yeah, I guess if you didn't snap the muskox, you're not gonna snap the release now. Could consider maybe denying the Savannah. So here, I snap up the Savannah to secure it. And opponent opts to cause the break, thinking maybe to break away my worker. But I'm not in like a rush to spend the worker. If opponent didn't break there, I was gonna break. So yeah, I don't mind the break there. We'll discard 2 cards. We'll ditch the Macaw and the Tassie Devil. We'll keep our projects. Opponent snaps the goat there because they have a petting zoo. I think that's not unreasonable. I think that I probably, if I were them, maybe snap the elephant. Because, I'm not going to be fighting for the goat. I don't really care about it. And just, they have like a lot of money. I think getting like a nice point bomb is quite nice. So we do pick up the university. We upgrade our association. And here we have a decision between playing the quarantine lab or just breaking. I like breaking here because we are really short on money. So this is sort of the turning point in the game when I've decided to speed up the pace of my play. And, so what's the game plan here, right? I'm going to break for money. That's going to push the break. That means the next round's coming up sooner. And we're going to release the Sumatra Tiger. What are we going to take as a reward? We could take snapping, but and especially on Research Institute, playing fast is super powerful because of this underappreciated clever bonus. So what we can do is grab the clever bonus. We'll be at 7 rep from the release. We'll upgrade animals with the second partner zoo. With the animals action, we'll get our 8th reputation, and we'll have our 2nd and 3rd worker ready to go for another project. We're going to do the project and then cause the break. And yeah, so let's do that. What are like the considerations for wanting to play higher tempo though? A couple things, right? We're at a not money disadvantage per se, since our incomes are relatively the same. But if you feel like you're lacking in money, then you want to be pushing the brake, because the brake's going to give you money. So if you feel like you're lacking in money, you want to be playing fast. If your opponent has better sponsors than you, you want to be playing fast, because it means that they're going to be getting better value out of their sponsors. The longer the game goes, the more value they can get out of their sponsors. Opponent has an Okapi stable and an Explorer. So Okapi, low-key, pretty good, because it lets them get free marketing action. So if they have even better sponsors, they can kind of play that and get some really good efficiency out of their herbivores. Explorer, no need to explain why Explorer is really good there. So with these two reasons and the fact that we got a worker on 2 CP, I think that pushing the brake here, pushing the pace of play is going to be what I want to be doing. Opponent spends an action grabbing a partner zoo, grabbing a university to grab their upgrades. Sure. So, this kind of goes to show why not snapping the national park was a mistake. Even if I had denied the muskox, just having another project to do, I think would just be way better. Even just releasing the monkey as like a tempo play, I think would have been totally reasonable. Not having a release is like super detrimental there. Not having a project to do. I think releasing the monkey would have been really good. You would have been able to win the partner zoo on 8 as well. So we stick with our plan. We release our tiger. Grab the partner zoo. We'll keep climbing park because it's going to be better than large animal zoo. Grab Australia so that we can play koala, and it'll let us do herbivore breeding and upgrade animals. I think maybe there is a consideration for upgrading cards here, since with the Research Institute, we don't have to have upgraded animals, and cards lets us, surpass the reputation cap. And if we're going to be playing the koala, we don't need the reputation from the animal's action, right? Since we're going to be playing herbivore breeding, So maybe that was a mistake. And especially with the clever bonus, we're not really going to be hurting. Uh, we're not going to have the difficulty getting our animals to power 5. So opponent here spends an X on their animals action to get a rep to get their upgrade and decides to upgrade build. And with their animals action, they play 1 animal. So not the biggest fan of that. I guess they were a bit stuck in their with the way that they built. They didn't really have a way to build any big enclosures easily, which again harkens back to not doing a project. So had they been able to do a project, they could have gotten a 2 size, put a 2 size, over here, and then had room to build. Build a 5 size for the elephant, grab the Africa Partner Zoo from the track. So here I get a little greedy. I take a card's action first. Even if I took animals, I wouldn't be able to do a project. Cards was still in the way. So, I took cards action thinking, okay, maybe I'm going to want to pouch one of these cards. I'm going to need to be taking cards anyways. And that does let the opponent break, but even if I didn't take cards, they would have been able to break next move with a sponsor's action anyways. And I know they want to build, so I'm not worried about them causing the break immediately. They do build a 5 size, and we do play the koala, and we pouch the sheep. So here, the opponent can break away our workers. I think that's just better to do. It prevents us from doing a project. It prevents us from getting value out of our double clever. But opponent chooses to play the fur seal, which I think is kind of a big mistake. Opponent also doesn't have too many income bonuses, so that's another thing to keep in mind is, if you have better income bonuses than your opponent, then causing breaks is going to be good for you. The converse of that is true as well. So if you have good sponsors to play, if you have a lot of money, then you generally don't want to be pushing the pace of play. You want to avoid taking cards actions. You don't want to be breaking unnecessarily. And you want to be forcing your opponent to be causing the breaks. You're getting more value out of your actions. But right now, I don't have any sponsors to play. My cards aren't that good. I just have projects and mediocre animals to play. So we're just going to try to take actions that give us the points. We're going to do animals, we're going to do projects, and we're going to break. It's, again, especially easy on Research Institute with the double clever. You get into this very nice pattern of animals, project, break, animals, project, break. So here I do species diversity. I donate, I take snapping. I think if I don't snap the national park, I could maybe snap the flamingo. But I think the project just has the highest upside. And again, worst case, I can release the Tamarin, right? So I think having projects to do is way more important than having, like some okay animals to play. Animals are pretty replaceable, right? Like I could play the Duke instead of the Flamingo. It's like not a big deal. Here, opponent plays a Quarantine Lab, which again I think is a bit of a waste of an action. If I were them, I'd probably just break there with either cards or sponsors. Quarantine Lab doesn't really do anything. Because now it also lets me break. So I get my X token. I get priority on snapping. And look at that, a Jaguar shows up right after we picked up a America's release. So that's very nice for us. Build a 2-size here so that we can drop a 2-size and draw a card during the next break. Clever down cards, clever down build. Don't need to take those actions. Opponent does snap up the elephant. They do have a lot of money to spend. And yeah, opponent is looking not so great here, right? So what's going on? They're behind on points because they didn't do a project last round. They are behind on enclosures, and their build is not high. So they don't have empty enclosures for their animals. Doesn't seem like they have projects to do. Whereas we have empty enclosures. We're about to play Jaguar, release it. So, everything is like really well set up for us. And I think the plan is pretty straightforward. Play the Jaguar plus, the Tamarin, or maybe we can hunt something nice. Do a project. Probably grab X tokens. And then look to do another project, or maybe even just break. So opponent here grabs a partner zoo. Again, not doing a project. Feels kind of bad. Gets all their upgrades, sure. But, behind on all the metrics that I had just mentioned, right? So I play the Jaguar, and we hunt a very nice Ibex here. This is pretty convenient because it breaks 2. And so we can grab X tokens, and we don't have to spend, all our X tokens just to cause the break. We only need to spend 2 X tokens to cause a break with the Ibex. So very timely Ibex there. And the perfect enclosure for it touching double rock. Opponent here takes a card's action, which is another mistake, I think. Depends on what they have going on in their hand. If they really have like absolutely nothing, then sure. But it just really puts them in a bad spot, right? They just don't really have the time to be taking cards actions like that. Especially because it's going to let me very easily cause the break, the move after the next. So we release our Jaguar, grab a donation, and we're just going to look to break the next move. That's going to let us clever down cards and build again. We can take an animal's action, play maybe like the red deer and the tamarin, spend 3x's on our association, do herbivore breeding. That's going to get us our last worker. So that's going to be like 15 points. This is 9. That's like 24 points. It's going to put us at 85. So we only need to find like another project or another like large animal to play, and we should be in a pretty good spot to end the game. And our opponent still, 24 points, no enclosures, no projects. So when the opponent's kind of behind like this, it's a good opportunity to push the pace and end the game as quickly as possible when they, if we give them time, like play an elephant, do a couple projects. Now they have 2 end games. They're getting value out of Explorer. Definitely don't want to be doing that. Pick up another project, Predator Breeding. And yeah, opponent just concedes the game here, which I think is pretty reasonable. So had the opponent not conceded, I would have probably snapped up the red deer and then played the marten and the red deer. Spent 3x tokens on a partner zoo, grabbed Asia, done predator breeding, grab some money, donate, maybe play another round of animals, and then done herbivore breeding. And that should have been about enough to end the game. And opponent just definitely wouldn't have had enough time to do anything about it. So, had the opponent kind of played a little bit better, I think that we would have had less opportunities to play in such a high velocity manner. But I think this is a good example of, what it means to play high tempo. Still kind of hard to describe with words, right? Like, what exactly did I do that was like different, or what could I have done that was would have been like low tempo? I think I took actions that I think any high elo player would have done in my situation. But anyways, I still think that was a interesting example of high tempo play, given the conversation that was happening in the Discord. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. Smash that like button. Yeah. Let me know. Cool. Thanks, guys. And as always,